Hey there neighbors, Kevin here with etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the SEAFLO Ceramic RV Toilet here in our 2022 Grand Design Imagine travel trailer. There's a few reasons why you might need to replace the toilet in your RV, one of them being just maybe the toilet is no longer functioning properly. The next biggest reason is typically just for your actual comfort. So there's a couple of different options when it comes to that, so it's going to be based on your height. So with this specific option we have today, this is more of a residential style height, so it's not super low to the ground like some of those other camper style toilets sit, so that you feel a little bit more comfortable. You're at a better height so that you don't have your knees poking up super high. And then also with this is going to have a ceramic bowl with a plastic slow close lid on here, so not only is it going to feel more like that toilet bowl at home, so you have the home bowl advantage, but also you don't have to worry about the lid slamming down closed because it's going to slowly close and you actually won't even really hear it once it fully hits the seat there. So another part of that comfort topic is whether it's a round bowl or an elongated bowl, and most people are going to prefer that elongated bowl, just like what we have here, but SEAFLO does offer some round bowl options as well. There is another differentiator too with their specific toilets is on the back where the valve system is that all of our water comes through, you can actually add on a sprayer. Now some of these kits will already come with that sprayer already ready to go for you. On this specific one, they have a plug on the end of that barb fitting that the sprayer is going to go on. So if later on you decide, you know what, I do want that sprayer, all you have to do is go to the back here where the valve is, just cut off that little cap, and then you can easily just put on the hose for the sprayer and then a hose clamp to fully tighten that down, and you'll be ready to go. So as far as operation goes with this, it's a simple just push down like every other RV toilet out there with the foot pedal. As you start to press down on that, it's going to open up and allow that water to pass through. We've also got inlets going around our bowl, but you can see there's kind of a curved built-in loop here, so that way when that sprayer sprays out to the sides, it's going to travel up the bowl and then really kind of help clean it out, so that way you don't have any stuck on stains or any other kind of debris left in the toilet. Installation of this toilet is honestly super easy. It's only going to be 2 bolts just tying into the flange that's mounted in your trailer already. Now the only time I would say that this probably would get to be a little bit more of a challenge is if that flange is damaged and you're needing to replace that as well, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit during the install later on in this video. But if that is the situation for you, then please feel free to reach out to us, because we can definitely help you out getting that flange replaced, so that way you can add on your toilet and be all set to go. But with that being said, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you don't want to touch the old nasty gross toilet to swap in that new one, then please feel free to use our dealer locator. You can just enter in your zip code and find a shop near you to get it professionally installed. Now if you are wanting to do this yourself and you just need a little bit of info to kind of get you there, stick around and I'll walk you through the process. So starting off our install, we're going to want to make sure that we have our water off. In our case, our trailer's been winterized and hasn't been used yet, so we don't really have to worry about water being in the lines, but potentially there could still be a little bit in there even though it's been cleaned out. So grab yourself some shop towels. We're also going to need a wrench so that we can undo the flange bolts on our toilet so we can get that removed. I've also got the box for my new toilet sitting here because I don't want to drag all of that wastewater that could be dripping out of here all throughout our trailer to get out. So I'm going to toss it right into the box, and I can take the box right out of here and kind of minimize our mess here. So I'm going to start down at our flange bolts. There's going to be one on either side, right in the middle. And in my case here, I am in need of an 11mm wrench, so that way I can get this nut off. So I'm going to get this side off. And there will be caps over this, so with this specific one, you're just pulling it straight up, and it just kind of clicks into that flange bolt. So we'll pull those up out of the way, revealing those, and I'm going to get these taken off real quick. Alright, now that I have those flange nuts taken off, I am going to throw shop towel under our water connection. So with this toilet, it's a Dometic. We've only got one connection coming in. We don't have a sprayer or anything else we got to disconnect. It's just this one hose running up to the back. So that will take off. And like I said, you could potentially have a little bit of water still on the line. Looks like we got a couple drips there. Not too bad. Throw another one down. And at this point, we can lift up our toilet and drop it right into our box and get that out of the way. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to kind of clean up this space a bit with some cleaning solution. You can also pop up those old flange bolts. We're going to be replacing those with our new one. And for your flange, this is a good time to kind of take a look at it, make sure there's no cracks in it, it's not breaking, no issues to where you need to replace it. If you do, we will need to know exactly how it connects, because there are ones that thread on, and then there's also ones that you'd have to glue into place, so then we'd have to kind of do a little bit more exploring to figure out exactly what type you have. Now, the most important measurement here is going to be our rough-in measurement, and that's going to tell us if we have enough space for our toilet to mount to our flange, and then still have enough room behind it, the toilet, so it's going to fit up against our wall. So to get that, what you do is you would go from the center of your flange back to the wall, and this one is well over a foot, so we're pretty good. Most toilets are going to be starting out kind of in that 8.5 inch range. Ours today is at 8.5 inch rough-in, and then a lot of the other ones that are on the market are really kind of in that 10 inch and 11 inch rough-in. So we've got plenty of space, no problems fitting our toilet in. So at this point, let's get our gasket onto the bottom of our toilet, and then we can get it in place. So in your kit, you're going to find a little gasket just like this, and you'll notice there's a lip, and that lip is going to be facing down towards our toilet flange. So we'll just pop this onto the bottom of the toilet just like so. And as we tighten down those flange bolts, that's going to squeeze and compress this and help keep those sewer gases down inside of our black tank. At this point, we can now pop that back up. I'm going to grab my flange bolts, and we'll just slide those into place, just like their previous ones were. And then we'll lift up our toilet and line it up. There we go. And that gasket's going to kind of keep it elevated a little bit until we fully compress that down. So we'll grab our flange nuts and we'll start tightening those down. I'm going to be using a 13 millimeter socket. I'm going to try to do this evenly, so I'll do a little bit on this side and keep going back and forth. I'm going to get a nice seal so we don't have any sewer gas leaking out. I've tightened it down. We have a little baby torque wrench that matches up to the torque that they list in the instructions. I'm going to be honest though, I've replaced a ton of toilets in my life throughout trailers and residential, and I've never used a torque wrench. You could probably get away with not using one if you didn't have this specialty one. This is actually meant for a bike. But I got that torqued as well. Realistically, what we're looking for here is we want a nice seal, so we want that gasket to get compressed against our flange, and then also we don't want any wiggling with our toilet, really. So there's a tiny bit, I might go just a tiny bit over, but at the same time, this is a plastic base, so we can't over-tighten it, because then we run the risk of cracking the base, and then you're going to have a loose toilet for the rest of the time that you have it in there. So I will go just slightly more. I mean, you can kind of feel when a flange nut is getting too tight. Now at this point, this is kind of just your own personal preference. If you wanted to actually caulk around the base, that's going to help prevent, or essentially give you a little bit more of a seal, so that way if there was a leak between the gasket and the flange, it wouldn't be smelling inside of your camper. It'd kind of stop it right there with the sealant, keeping it just inside of the base. But at the same time, if you had a leak where stuff was coming up, or maybe it wasn't going straight down that drain line and it was kind of coming out and leaking inside of here, you wouldn't know it until you actually remove the toilet or you saw the floor rotting out. So in my opinion, I prefer to not caulk it and then have that leak actually show, so that way I can deal with the problem right away before it becomes a bigger issue. But if you feel like caulking it, it does look a lot nicer when it is caulked. So you can if you want. Following that up, though, we're going to go to the back here and we'll make our connection. Most of the time, your pipe is going to usually be PEX, at least that I've been finding, so I haven't been able to easily move it. And our trailer today does have a flexible hose, so I'm actually able to just thread this right on, no problem. You might find that you need to go to the hardware store and pick up an adapter hose in some cases. I have run into that myself a few times. And most of the time, they'll have like a section where it says faucet and toilet. Well, in residential standards, that's fine, but in RV standard, faucet is more the toilet size that they're using. So you want to look in the faucet section for that hose. Now, last thing to do is just pop on those caps. You'll see one side's a little bit more open. I would just kind of hide that towards the inside. So it literally just presses right on, and we're all good to go. Now at this point, we're ready to try out our toilet. We just need to go and hook up to water. You could use, obviously, your water pump and your fresh tank. In our case, we're just going to run through the city water connection, so that way we can just have it come right through, and then we can kind of clean it out. So now that we're hooked up to our city water connection, we can now test out our toilet. If you are hooking up to city water, just one more little quick tip. Just make sure that you're using an RV pressure regulator, so that way you don't potentially blow out any of the fittings or any of the pipes that are actually in your trailer, just depending on what that pressure is. So at this point now, we'll press down on our foot pedal here. You can see we've got water coming in. You can even hear it here. We'll lift this up. So we have our sprayer right at the back there, doing what it's supposed to, and our gasket right here, holding water, so that way we keep those smells down in the tank and don't have those coming up into our trailer. Well, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the SEAFLO Ceramic RV Toilet here in our 2022 Grand Design Imagine travel trailer. My name's Kevin, and if you're still looking for the right toilet replacement for your travel trailer, please feel free to reach out to us via our Ask the Experts link, comment on this video, or phone call to our customer service department, and we'd be happy to help you out on your journey.